you, Abhinav, for that introduction. So, I'm not the man of the hour. The man of the hour is Mr. Sourav Saha, as you all know, and he's an alumni of our college, Kalyani Government Engineering College, 2003 pass out from Electronics and Communications Engineering Department. So, Sourabh, thank you for having us and letting me host such an beautiful meet with you. Thank you so much for joining. So
My
I thank
pleasure.
you from the thank you so much. So I firstly thank you for from the entire KGC fraternity for guiding us in the form of these talks. As you know, these ideas only shape the future in the later stages, and I hope you'll help people in new scopes and ideas, and I'm sure they will try to achieve it. So without further delay, uh, with your permission, should I set on the question answer session with you, Swarabda?
Absolutely.
So I'm from your LinkedIn profile and whatever you have achieved. So, and I've got to know you less because I was not there at your times. So, firstly, I would like to ask about your journey till now. What was your journey, the challenges you faced, and the various educational programs you have been linked with, starting from your BTech in KGEC to your MTech? I want to know about that, and I'm sure people also know about that.
Okay, so it's a long journey of 1999 till 2020. So you can expect 21 years journey. We need to wrap up maybe in 10 minutes. So it will be a rapid acceleration. So let me also,
Absolutely.
and thanks for giving me this opportunity to go down memory lane, because when we go back year by year or certain things, I may also, bring back some of the memories and learnings which consciously I may not be thinking these days. So when I joined KGEC, that time the resources or the brand value of KGEC, everything was significantly lower as compared to what you are enjoying today. The alumni base, or what can be the quote unquote the word guidance from the senior batches, all those things were just starting. I think we were the fourth batches or something. So first thing that I remember, I was asking myself after I was entering the KGEC campus, I should continuously benchmark myself with respect to the known college to make sure I am not missing out anything what perhaps I may not be getting locally, but I should know. So one of the first exercise I remember, which I don't know makes sense or not. By the way, many of the things I will probably touch upon in this talk, which may be outdated. I give my honest disclaimer, but still, maybe you can still relate, and few of the things may still make sense. So what I was doing, I remember in the first 1 or 2 years, I used to download the syllabi of the prominent colleges at that time and used to compare with the KGEC engineering syllabus semester by semester, and used to create a ticket if kind of thing. Okay, what exactly the thing the others are learning, what I am missing, and what I am learning, what is not there elsewhere. And using that, one of the thing that I was continuously doing semester by semester, it was not known to many of my peers that point of time. Like, apart from the syllabus, what is getting covered in the classes, I used to see, okay, if I would have been in this IIT or this NIT or this X college, Y college, what extra thing I would have learned. So continuously thinking about that gap, that used to be my one of the first learning in KGEC. And one of the thing I remember, the faculty members were generous enough to give me 5 to 6 library cards additionally on top of the student quota. So using that, I was kind of looking for like some additional hours in the library, what else I could do. So that was the first thing. I mean, I don't know whether I will call it a struggle, but knowing the resources are limited and the wish list to benchmark myself with respect to the others, that used to be the first couple of years journey. Then that point of time, the concept of GATE was just picking up. So few of us, we started creating a GATE study group in the third year and the fourth year. So that worked well at that era of time. it was good learning, and in a group study format, we could clear the gate without wasting time with a reasonable score. In the fourth year, someone told, if you are preparing for GATE, then why not you are looking for engineering services exam, because they kind of follow the similar syllabi. I said, okay, fine, that's something interesting. So I again did a ticket if between the GATE syllabi and the Engineering Service Commission syllabi. Figured out, okay, what are the additional things I need to learn, kind of jotted down through few of the additional, last 5 years question answer session, etc. Without wasting any year, on top, along with getting admission process into the IITs, I was appearing into the IES. And as you know, like IES selection process takes long time. You need to clear prelims and then some you call mains, and then some interview sessions, then medical. The entire process start to end takes around 1.5 years. So I appeared when I was passing out, and my selection result came in IES when I was in the third semester of my masters at IIT. Okay. And I still remember the celebration that happened around me in the IIT campus. I was taken out on someone's shoulder, and people said, okay, now we will do a, like the hostel rounding and all those things. But I was not going. I'll be turning to be a local celebrity overnight. The result was out around 9 p.m. Only few of my MTech batchmates knew I appeared for IES, and by the way, I will also share the UPSC interview a little bit if time permits. It's interesting. Someone told me while you are doing engineering, while you are preparing for campus placements and anything else, it's very good in lifetime once to appear for the military short service commission interviews, irrespective of your stream. And in your lifetime, at least once or twice, you should appear for UPSC interview. I'm not talking about the written, but the interview exposure, irrespective of selection or rejection, gives a hell lot of experience. Okay, they will test you left to right, up, down, everywhere. They'll know as a character, as a personality, what is your strength, what is your weakness. Okay, it's a short interview of around 40 minutes, hosted by people from different backgrounds. Few will be IIT professors, few will be bureaucrats, few will be some veterinary officer or whatever, veteran officers. But it's a very good experience. Okay, so yeah, so that used to be the academics part. I had a tough time deciding between my engineering career and IES career because many people told this private sector journey of jobs, eventually in the long run, it has many pitfalls, and you should focus on a very well glamorous, lucrative government positions. And then I had to keep my campus placement offer and IES both side by side for 6 months. And then I had to take a call. I will drop IES. I will not go for it. So I remember the struggle in deciding that, and quite a few things I had to think that point of time. So yeah, that was about the academics. Then in the corporate journey of 14, 15 years. So first of all, I don't know whether I have done anything different or anything big in my life. Right now, you will have many more examples from KGEC alumni or your other friends, like who have, reached many top positions in different organizations, or right now the IIT ISC professors. So, but I will share what I have understood. So after working for 5 well-known semiconductor organizations, and even now also I'm working, what kind of freedom that you expect within the corporate environment, okay, and what your mind and your brain and your heart, they're trying to do. Many of the times there will be an alignment, many of the times there will not be an alignment. So question is, when they are not in alignment, what kind of frustration you will deal with, and if things are aligned, what kind of celebration that you will do. One of the things that I try to do always go behind the unconventionals. Okay, so in my academics as well as in my corporate journey, maybe it's just my characteristics. I will not say anything good or bad about it. It's just my personality. I was always looking for in my journey what others are not doing. What is the missing piece that used to be my driving force? So whichever organizations I was part of, whatever assignments I have been handling, I was always looking for, okay, in this environment, this part is already being done. This part is not done. So can I zoom into it? Can I do something about it?
Yeah.
That led to, opening up the innovation pipeline. So in industry, there are two buzzwords always you will hear. One is called execution, one is called innovation. They
Absolutely.
go hand in hand, but depending on your individual job role, your individual reporting structure, you may not get to do both simultaneously all the time. Sometime you will see you have innovative ideas, but you are too much tied up into the execution deliverables timelines. Many of the cases you will feel internally frustrated, but nothing much you can do about it because you need to save your job also. So I would not use the word struggle, but because of my natural interest or my perseverance, whatever you say, after midway of my corporate journey, starting 2010-11 timeframe, I started creating small, working groups in across or any organizations or any group where I work. These working groups are designed to, along with their mainstream deliverables, to continuously think in an academic mindset. Even though we are not doing a PhD or a postdoctorate while in job, but how to retain the academic mindset. That used to be my focus midway through my career. And we used to conduct a group brainstorming session, group ideation session, and that started creating the patent pipeline. So we have created many ideas during those. We used to conduct boot camps in house. I'm talking about the corporate journey, not the academia. And through that, many of the ideas would have been productized. Many of the ideas would have been landed up into the patent portfolio creation, whatever. But it eventually paid a rich dividend. Okay. Right now, when I kind of see my patent portfolio, I still remember the day one when I started that activity. And that culture I'm still continuing wherever I am. I always form working groups and keep doing that. So that is another little bit unconventional thing that I have been doing. And while mentoring maybe 50 to 100 odd engineers, young engineers, I would say, in my career so far. Uh, why ImpactLife Solutions, the entity that we have founded recently? So and I'm coming to the last 2-3 years of my journey, trying to summarize. So while working, I started making a note of what all things are not possible in a corporate environment. Okay, not everything you can do, even if you have been pursuing patents, if you are pursuing innovative ideas. But overall, when you try to visualize your career in a full circle, a full 360-degree canvas, then you
Yeah.
will of course understand you are covering some part of the pie chart. Okay, but few of the things is not possible in a corporate landscape. So then I started listing down my thoughts or envisionments, what is not possible. Then when I took a break from the conventional corporate journey and joined National Law School to study intellectual property rights, and at the same time I used to study quite a few additional innovation related course program online. During this phase, we created this entity and we registered a few trademarks to cater to 4 broad areas which make sense. So one of the initiative is called Germentor, which is to foster innovation in academia. A little list of activities that we are coming up with. There is a pan-India competition lined up very soon. We'll try to rope in KGEC there as soon as possible. So that is on the innovation side, which probably is my natural tendency. Then we figured out in the corporate environment, many people are undergoing a huge emotional stress. Okay, people sometimes talk about it, people may not talk about it, but as you all know, in the metro cities, 1 out of 5 people are becoming emotionally affected because of the very high stressful life. And that is creating not only the psychological or the emotional issue, it has lots of physical implications. Okay, so then we figured out within our friend and family, we need to do something about it. So we have started another initiative called AntarPathy, which is called like the healing power from within, right? Without referring to conventional medicines or something, what all things you can harvest from the entire world, which can help you to stay resilient in these testing times and beat all the quote unquote corporate stress factors or whatever, like thing that bothering you. Then the third thing that we have done, which will be also going live later this month, there is an initiative called Cube Talk. So that is supposed to bridge the availability of the expert knowledge barrier between the rural audience and the urban audience. So right now the talent pool or the expert knowledge base is highly concentrated in the urban areas, but many of the times in this critical COVID lockdown phase or otherwise also, the seekers are away, but the persons who can deliver, they are somewhere located. So across all domains, can we create a platform? Can we create a mechanism which can bridge the urban population and the rural population? So that was the third thing that we have done. And we had a bunch of volunteering related concepts lined up. So then we figured out another fourth initiative called Serotonin. Serotonin, some of you may be knowing, is the name of a hormone that gets released in our brain whenever you do something out of love or compassion. Okay, so then we use that particular word as a keyword and registered that trademark to route all the volunteering related activity. We kept a hold right now because of the COVID lockdown. Physical volunteering is not possible, so the infrastructure development is ongoing, but we kept it on hold till the time things get normalized. And there are other 2 3 ideas which are also pursuing in the education and healthcare field. So yeah, so that's the from 1999 till this 2020, the question that you asked, the journey.
Yeah.
So across challenges or my thought process and all those things, I tried to wrap up maybe in 15 minutes.
Thank you so much for that journey down your memory lane. I seem to be overwhelmed with your unconventional way of thinking, and I too am glad that I'm here to chat with you. So, you seem to have a very strong patent portfolio, as I saw. So, can you elaborate? Means how does students go on that line of patent and publishing?
Yeah, that's a good question. So many of you may not be knowing, patent filing doesn't have an age bar. Okay,
Okay.
any person, like, there is a myth or there is a misconception. Maybe patents can be filed by someone who is highly knowledgeable and spent 5, 10, or 15 years in a given domain, have done lots of scientific experiments or whatever. But patents is all about coming up with creative ideas and making sure the ideas are feasible and making sure no one else thought around the same line. There are many other formal rules and techniques around patents, but that is outside scope of this chat. But question is, if there is no formal limitation by the government or the authority which drives the patent portfolio management system, then why we as a citizen of India or as a young population or as a student, why we cannot think of patenting? Okay, if I am having any interesting idea running through my head and if I can quickly validate this particular thing actually is not in practice, no one has thought about it.
Yeah.
There are many reasons why the patenting is beneficial. There is a strong entrepreneurship culture right now going on in our country, and I believe KGEC has multiple bodies looking into it. And many of the cases, especially from the students or early entrepreneur point of view, intellectual property awareness is key. So what happens is, if you are pursuing an innovative startup ideas, and unless you patent your idea, you protect your idea. Patent is fundamentally, in a very loose way of defining it, is a protection mechanism, right? So that in a system, it is recognizing you are the first. Remember, patent is also territory centric. So you are taking the patent, this statement is valid in the territory where you are applying for it. If you are thinking of rolling out a product or service or idea in India, then you should patent it in India at least. If you have an export plan for your idea to other countries or wherever, then you should seek patent protection in your target geographies. Okay. Now, the advantage that you get, if you have a down the line plan of becoming an entrepreneur, then it will give you a kind of a fuel in the first 3 to 5 years journey. Why? Because in absence of a patent protection, say you are getting an investment, you are getting a seed capital of X. There are many other conventional, MNCs or the big powerhouse. They are watching out for every small startup success stories. So they can replicate someone's idea pretty easily. They can deploy 10 times R&D budget in no matter of time. Okay, by the time someone will think of productizing a concept or a new idea, they will be seeing there are 10 additional products available in the market, and even though you are the first who had actually thought about it, but you cannot beat the competition, right? If a big powerhouse is actually deploying their sales and marketing team behind it, then nothing is possible. But if you are patenting it, then you have the fuel to say, I am the first, so I will sue you, so I will make sure my product gets a due advantage in the market. That is one. Second thing is, even if you don't have a startup creation plan, even if you don't have any envisionment to become an entrepreneur, but you have an interesting idea, then also it helps, because patents also comes up with lots of licensing earning potential, right? So it's something like you have invested in some shares or stock market or some other kind of property. Why not you invest in intellectual property?
Yeah.
If you are investing in intellectual property, apart from the fact that it will give you a good boost in your career profile or resumes, etc., you can commercialize your idea. You can license your patent to a other player who have actually planned to productize it. And till that time of your patent life cycle is having a journey of 20 years. For 20 years, you can continue to earn the royalty income, which is significant, apart from your conventional salary income or whatever that you will do. And there are many additional benefits. So I will encourage everyone to look for it. There are lots of incentive scheme that government has actually offered in the last 2, 3, 4 years to increase our India's patent filing ratio by the young population is very low when you compare to China, Korea, Japan, and many other countries. So we need to change our mindset. But in India, typically the cost factor varies between 20,000 to 40,000 to cover the entire filing journey, and many discounts and offers and promotion government launches for the students if you are trying to file something, so that even under 10-15,000 there are many ways. And I believe many of the IITs and NITs are creating the hub and spoke models, so that a bunch of institutes can route their patentable ideas to the hub, and they will offer a massive discount to file the patents for the students community. So, and we can go deeper in the other forums, but it will definitely help CV building, your credibility as an innovator, your future hurdles as an entrepreneur will be reduced. And additionally, you may, it's not guaranteed, can create additional future income source without knowing about it. So keeping all this thing in mind, it's a highly encourageable path.
Thank you so much, Sourav, because I didn't personally have so much exposure in patent and all. So I guess I learned a lot, and I guess the other people have too. So now I would ask all our viewers to post their questions in the comment section, so that Sourav will be pleased to answer those. Any questions coming up, please?
Both of you can go on. I'll tell you, Arik, if we have any question.
Okay, thank you. So, Sourav, I was really thought of that EAC selection and all, because it's a dream come true, absolutely. Because engineering services are, they test you completely, as you told, from left to right, from top to bottom. They absolutely test you, from the type of the person you are, your personality, how you speak. So it was truly a great journey to even think of. So, secondly, you are thinking of an idea, but when it comes to execution, it's a bit tough. So when you first thought of becoming an entrepreneur, and what was your main motivation and vision that drove you?
I briefly touched upon it when I was answering my journey part of the question. So as I was mentioning, while in academics, I was looking for the delta, what I was missing in KGEC. In the
Yes.
corporate journey, I was continuously noting down what others are doing between the 15 to 20 years career exposure. And because so entrepreneurship has no formal rule what is the right time to be an entrepreneur. Okay, there are many people who start in this particular mode of career without testing the conventional job market. There are some people who do it after 2 years or 3 years of job. There are some people who do it after 5 or 10 years. Some people do after 20 years. So there is no best known practice we call BKM that tells, okay, this is the right time to be an entrepreneur. But I was just observing myself in my entire journey of corporate life, and then I was figuring out I have a natural tendency to do something new. Okay, why I was creating the innovation forums and those ideation boot camps, etc. The urge was always to do something new. And then, as I was mentioning, I figured out, because I belong to the semiconductor industry by profession or by my background. So within semiconductor industry, I can always look for coming up with new ideas, new innovations, etc. But what I want to achieve in my life, the overall goal statement is not like that. As I said, the 360-degree view is not only the semiconductor industry. Something else is also there. But question is, while working, how I can justify, I can create some mechanism so that I can put my structured effort to all those ideas or all those interests which cannot fall within the purview of semiconductor industry. So that is the seeding thought that led to the entrepreneurial mindset. Okay, so that means I want to do in my professional journey something which is not possible within the corporate landscape. That means I need to structure my ideas or efforts outside that particular domain to something else. So what can be that something else? Then the first thing will be to register an official entity so that under which we can drive, right? Otherwise it becomes one person or two person in an unstructured manner, they're trying to do something. So that led to the creation of a registered entity, what we call a startup registration. Then at the time of registering, I knew, okay, I have a bunch of ideas or bunch of interest at least, and there is a registered entity. But I didn't know how to plan the different ideas in a structured form. And also I didn't know what is the right priority of order. Okay. And it's a roller coaster journey. So initially I thought of doing something on the wearable space. So we created few ideas. We talked to few good MNCs to see whether we can collaborate. Then there was a three-way discussion with two IITs and one. I will not talk the name because it's outside the confidentiality clause. But there is one or two good MNCs. So we were thinking of many interesting, innovative wearable concept, right? Then we figured out that require a huge initial investment which we cannot afford, and the rate at which the negotiations or the transactions will go through, it require much more strong presence. Like they were looking for someone who has got 5-year entrepreneurial exposure already, but we had just started. So then we thought, okay, fine. So that kind of highly ambitious ideas we will defer by 2, 3, 4 years. Let's see what is possible with low capital and something which has a lower chance of failure, so that in the first 2 to 3 years, it is very important to get the early success that will boost your confidence as an entrepreneur. You may have few low-hanging ideas and few high-hanging ideas, like which will give you a huge visibility or brand values, but the chance of failure is also very high. Now, when someone becomes an entrepreneur after, for example, 15 years of corporate journey, there is always a mix of risk averseness mindset will be there in the initial phase. So we have to figure out, okay, out of say 10 ideas that I want to pursue, this could be the top 3 that is reserved for the first 2 years. This could be the another 3 reserved for the second 3 years. So that way I had to create lots of pipeline. So after the pipeline creation, what right now we are pursuing is out of that exercise, okay, these are the 3, 4 things. Then question was, there are some startup ideas which go for the the profitability path. They want to accelerate the profitability journey. There are another set of startups which look for more value creation. Eventually value will turn towards profitability, but the focus is not creating profitability from the day one or like in a quick turnaround time. So we took the second path because, I mean, again, it depends on the context. If you are starting your entrepreneurial journey at a very early age, you didn't create a little bit of a savings or financial stability in your family, the pressure will be high. Like, okay, if you are not doing a job, if you are doing entrepreneurship at the age of 25, you need to show the path to profitability as soon as possible. But if you have kind of got to a point where you have got at least some savings, where you have got at least some financial stability, it's not a must to show a stellar growth on profitability in the year 1 or year 2. And so we thought, okay, fine, in the first couple of years, we'll look for only the value creation with a model that will support profitability, but it's not like we are very much hungry on profitability. So right now, the 3, 4 initiatives what I just now touched upon, we are not trying to become, okay, we have a huge year-on-year profitability chart or something, but we try to make sure, or we are doing that exactly right now, the value that we are anticipating out of it in the target sector, what we are trying to do. That's why we call all these initiatives a socio-tech initiative. It has a social upliftment component along with that technology component. So that is about the path or the style of entrepreneurship that we have chosen. Entrepreneurship has many styles and many parallel approaches. And there is no way you can say this is good, this is bad. It's just your context, your journey, your dream, your ambition. So what I felt, or we felt, what makes sense in the current context, and now that country is reeling under COVID, or the world is reeling under COVID. So yeah, so that's about the seeding thought of entrepreneurship and how it started.
Thank you for that. Such a beautiful entrepreneur journey, and from that entrepreneur journey, I thought of you have created something to bridge the rural and the urban people. So that is a very good one, which I thought it's a very good initiative. So a lot of people will be benefited from that. So I have heard from you in your previous answers that you have your Germentor initiative that seems to be promoting ideation in academics, I guess, academia. So just a brief, deep into what's your vision on that?
Okay, so like as I said, in the industry, there are two buzzwords, right? Execution and innovation. Similarly, in the academia, you have got a fixed syllabi, and you have got, a predefined notion how you are supposed to complete your journey of engineering. I mean, along with many add-on programs which are introduced in the last 5-10 years, there are lots of competitions, lots of hackathons, ideathons, etc., which were not so much popular in our times, which is right now the case. But still, what is the dominant expectation from your faculty community, from your parents community, from your peers community? You can summarize that, right? Okay, these are the top 3 or 4 checklists that the society is expecting from a budding engineer who is joining any engineering campus. If you observe the progression of the syllabi, irrespective of the stream chosen, it could be electronics, it could be electrical, it could be computer science, or whatever. You have a bunch of core papers or a common engineering programs in the first year, and then slowly you are going deeper into your stream specific knowledge pool, and then you are doing few internship, then you are performing 1 or 2 major and minor projects, and eventually you are earning your degree. That is the format right now, the way things are. As I said, when we talked about the patent part of the story, right, it's all about idea, right? Now question is, right now, what kind of engineers the industry needs or the society needs? There are lots of ways you can partition the engineering portfolio. But one very basic way of partitioning the engineering portfolio is there will be good engineers and there will be great engineers. Okay. Now, question is, what is the fundamental difference of traits that differentiate between the great engineers and the good engineers? If you observe the engineering curriculum pattern in some of the other advanced geographies in US, Europe, and other advanced countries, I would say, you will see there are lots of additional subjects or mini papers or something which are taught along with the engineering program, which are focused only on the interdisciplinary ideation. Okay, so they realized if the problem statement is highly ambiguous, so what happens is, where engineering skills comes into picture, where as an engineer we can start adding value, conventional engineering, I would say, when the problem statement is a pure engineering problem statement. If the problem statement is a pure engineering problem statement, you will deploy your learning, what you have accumulated in your engineering program, bachelor's, master's, whatever, and you will solve it eventually. We all are good engineers at least. But when we are given an ambiguous problem, a fuzzy problem, okay, there many of the times, even the best engineering brain, best engineering execution brain may fall short of what is expected or needed out of it. Okay. Yeah. So there, when the problem statement is not clear, sometimes what happens, it cannot be clearly outlined also. The nature of the problem itself is such, it cannot be clearly outlined. So there, 2 different engineers or 10 different engineers will think of 10 radically different ways to solve the same problem because it's not fully clear. So that's where the innovation thinking process, or we call ideation process, comes handy. And after working for 15 years in the industry and seeing many of the other success stories and the failure stories, we few of us, at least from the industry, figured out, okay, unless a new perspective is, injected into the academia, the conventional engineering mindset, the readiness factor for the fuzzy problem set or the ambiguous problem set cannot be dealt ideally in a conventional curriculum. So that means something else needs to be stressed upon, okay? And that will enable the people to handle the complicated, or I would not use the word complicated, that's wrong, the ambiguous problem statement in a more creative way. So there is something called creative visualization. So you need to build few concepts there. So Germentor is focusing on building that particular missing component in the conventional engineering curriculum. In the IITs and IIScs in Indian context, it is being introduced. There are few core papers on innovation process, ideation process are slowly getting introduced in IITs in the BTech level and MTech level, but pan-India coverage on similar concepts, it will take still quite a few years. Then we thought, okay, at least this missing space, if we can address in selectively, that will be good. So yeah, so that is the theme. Now what we are designing is a bunch of activities around that, but the intent is to cover that gap.
Absolutely. I hope that actually the gap is covering up, I'm sure, because academics now will change in this curriculum and all. Yes. So thank you for that Germentor initiative of yours that have helped build the gap. And I have also found out that you have a socio-economic orientation, means from the name of your venture, that is Impact Life. So from that, what have you mainly thought of it? Means, how did you come up with that, and what advantages the people get from it?
Okay, so this again goes to the entrepreneurship style that you can adhere to, right? So as I was mentioning, I was continuously listing down what is not possible within the corporate landscape. And that was my personal journey. Again, it need not be everyone's journey. So because the industries that I cater to, it's a high-tech industry, right? So it's a deep cutthroat R&D that is being done. So that means till whatever number of years I will think of catering to this industry, I will be anyway part of high-end R&D. So there is no doubt about it. Now in the entrepreneurship journey, if I also do high-end R&D, that's just adding in the same vector, right?
Yeah.
But typically in your lifetime, if you think of your professional part as a full 360-degree circle, you again, it's very subjective. There is no common rule. But I, as an individual, I can talk about. I wanted to touch upon two or three or four topics to see. Okay, there is a sense of accomplishment or fulfilled kind of feeling in my journey. So there, I figured out that if I take out the deep tech R&D part from the entrepreneurial ecosystem, then what is left over? The leftover part has to be a socio-tech part. So there are many ways of classifying entrepreneurial journeys, but one of the ways is social, socio-tech, and deep tech. This is one of the way to classify. Okay, social means it have least focus or what you call requirement, at least, to embrace technology. It could be a pure assembly of initiatives which is possible at a human level, which is also very important. But being from an engineering fraternity, I don't want to lose out on technology. But at the same time, deep tech part I don't want to do, which is part of my corporate journey. So what is the missing piece? The missing piece is socio-tech. So I wanted to blend some aspect of technology because I can rely on my background of technology, and I would like to create social impact. So that was the convergence point that I was focusing on. So that means the theme has to be a socio-tech. It's not deep tech. It's not social. Socio-tech. So any initiatives that we will put under the brand of Impact Life, which is supposed to touch lives essentially in whatever ways, should be around that. So that's the theme, and that's the way the naming was chosen.
Okay. So socio-tech is one thing and deep tech is other thing. That means the initiatives that we will have an impact in our lives too. So there are many things that students can learn from you. So, but any input from your side to the future KGECians who want to pursue in things in an unconventional way?
Okay, because you are using the word unconventional, that means there is no precedent, right? So advice cannot be given ideally for the unconventional part of the story. That means it's very conventional. So when I was looking for unconventional, that means something which is new, which is not known. So again, I don't know whether my journey will motivate any of the current KGECians or whatever, but if someone whoever is listening this particular conversation thinks they want to accomplish something different, they want to create some career track which are not known, okay, then you need to think very structurally and have lots of patience, because when you think of unconventional approach, many of the times the resistance will be from your immediate family. Many of the times the resistance could be in terms of opportunity, meaning the opportunities are conventional but your mind want to do something unconventional. How to address that? So if you think of a typical 20-25 years of professional journey, you don't know when exactly what unconventional opportunity will be opening up for you. But at the same time, if you always wait for the opportunity to come, that is also not the right thing. So you need to continuously try. Like I used a conventional, career track as a holding point or a landing point to start with, and then continuously think what is possible within this conventional track, as well as create completely radically unconventional track. So something like that may work, because many of the times you need to understand people who join engineering program, their socioeconomic status or many of the things may prevent them to take a completely radical new things from the day one, right? They need to cater to their family's situation, they need to have many other responsibility, I mean they need to cater to that also. But if you have an unconventional bias, you will continuously look for creating such path. It may come immediately after your graduation, it may come 10 years after your graduation, it can always be staggered. But look for it. And when you look for it in your subconscious mind, when you repeat it, I want to do something different in my life, I want to look for opportunity, I would like to create opportunity which is different from others, somewhere your subconscious mind will start responding to it. And there is a say, like if you are looking for something with full heartedness and with full focus, uh, your destiny will take shape accordingly, right? So if you are really passionate about it, I cannot say how things will work, but it will work. So that's a say. So if you are focused on that, just pray for it and embrace it, it will happen.
Thank you so much on that. And from that, I remember a saying that if you know the why, you'll know how. So if you
Yep.
know why, you know how to do it, then that's enough. And thank you for enlightening so many students in the KGC fraternity. So far, I'm grateful that I've got an opportunity to interview and talk with you about your journey down your memory lanes. And I hope all the students of the KGC and abroad have got to know your opportunities, the ideas behind your motives, not the Germentor initiative, the socio tech, the deep tech, whatever you talked about. If anyone has focused and learned it, I guess they'll learn quite a lot from your talks. So I would finally want to ask a different thing that just came up my mind, is that a lot of ideas come in our mind. So suppose I'm in mechanical background, I'm thinking of going in MS in suppose data science. So I'm changing my track. So it's like how to align the idea in a right way. That's the important thing, I guess. So how to do it?
Okay, first thing is idea creation doesn't have any limitation with respect to which engineering stream you are belonging to. Idea comes by connecting certain dots inside your brain based on the knowledge, information, and whatever you are getting exposed to time to time. So your brain, like, okay, we all know idea is very strongly connected to the eureka moment, right? Like, okay, we found something, wow, that's fantastic. In Germentor, we try to focus on the strings, what radically or which can create more and more eureka moments. Okay, so that's our one of the envisionments. Now, when you said the word, you are from mechanical background and you had to do something on the data science. So data science is a collection of tools and techniques. Data science itself is not an idea. Okay.
Absolutely.
So what we need to think is, so for example, many of the initiatives or the innovation ideas where we are partnering with are, and we actually promote that, we look for interdisciplinary ideas where people from different mindset and streams, they collaborate. Because when a mechanical engineer talk to an electrical engineer and they in turn go to a computer science engineer, many new ideas can come up, which would not be otherwise possible if three mechanical engineers are talking among themselves, or two computer science engineers are talking among themselves. Okay, so it's very good. Like if you are thinking of creating more and more new ideas, talk to the people who are focused on idea creation, but at the same time they may be having a slightly different perspective of the problem statement. So think of a problem statement and then think what your creative mind can go about it, right? I mean, maybe you will think of a little bit of something, and then your partner in that activity will think of a different perspective. When you join the two, it looks like, that now sounds interesting. Then a third person joined hand and say, if you are thinking this way, why not that way? So these are the challenging things that how we do, and there is a much more structured form. So what I said is just a very high level, but that is how the ideas are shaped up. Okay, so data science is not a right text here to be followed. It's okay to have mechanical engineering background or any engineering background. Main thing is we need a curious mind, and we need a highly creative imagination kind of state. Okay, creativity and imagination both are very strongly required. Now, any creative and imaginative mind, when they are supported by basic skills of engineering, they lead to ideation. Because what is the difference between a painter or an artist and an engineer? I can always draw a very beautiful picture or a beautiful music or something, right? Which will be fantastic creativity. But can it be patented? Can we call that as an innovation? Perhaps no, because it is not supported by a valid, feasible implementation path, which by the knowledge of science and engineering we are empowered to do. So the creative and imaginative thinking and cross validation in your mind in support from your engineering skills and whatever concepts that you are exposed to, that will lead to it.
Thank you so much, Saurabh, on enlightening on that part too. As you know that, as you have told, that unconventional way of thinking. It's not necessary that always you have to go for that unconventional, but ideas must come up, as you told, and that's the main thing. And as you told, it may be staggered now or somewhat later, but you need to come up with that idea.
Only one thing that I would like to touch upon here, if you are feeling the hunger from inside of idea creation, your mind will be trained over a period of months and years, like how to give birth to new ideas and how to make it a habit. So some people get an interesting idea at a random time in the life, right? Okay, fine. Now I have got an interesting idea. But people who have got huge patent portfolios or huge, innovation credibility, you will see they have a natural habit of coming up with ideas after ideas. So it requires a bit of rewiring in the brain, and that rewiring in the brain needs to be structurally harvested. Like you study certain things as a curriculum, this thing also needs to be understood year after year, month by month, or day by day in your subconscious mind. For that, there is no books, there is no formal study material, but you need to think through it and you need to see how others are doing it, and eventually it will be picked up. And once it picks up, it will be a spontaneous effort. You don't have to think, okay, today somehow I need to come up with an idea in next 7 days. Nothing like that. The ideas will flow in your mind.
Absolutely, I agree with that. That ideas will flow, and I'm sure many people will come up with new ideas in their upcoming lives. So, Shorabda, I give you, I'm thankful for your time today. Really thank you from the bottom of my heart for attending this session. I'm really grateful and hope the KGECians watching this and have gained a lot from this talk. Finally, I will thank all our viewers and our faculty members, teachers, and principal to lend out their support and guidance. Thank you, Shorabda.
Sure.
Thank
It
you.
was nice talking to all of you, and have a great, journey ahead in your career. So COVID or no COVID, KGECians should continue to rock.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye-bye.